Alma and Kofi had been married for 5 years. They seemed perfect to outsiders, but Alma was struggling with trust issues. Sensing the growing distance, Kofi planned a surprise getaway to a secluded bed and breakfast. Alma was intrigued by the lush gardens and peaceful setting. "Somewhere we can relax and reconnect," Kofi said. Hope flickered in Alma's heart. Maybe this trip could mend what was slowly fraying between them. They settled into their cozy room and took a walk through the garden. The soft rustle of leaves and chirping birds brought calm. Kofi held her hand. "Alma, can I ask you something?" he said gently. "Is everything okay?" Alma hesitated but didn't answer yet. Something inside her stirred, unsure if she was ready to open up. Later, Alma decided to speak. "I've been struggling with trust issues. I feel like I'm not good enough for you." Kofi's arms wrapped around her. "That's not true. You're my everything." Alma felt vulnerable but relieved. Maybe it was okay to let him in. Sitting on a bench, Alma shared her childhood. "My parents were always critical. Nothing I did was ever good enough." Kofi listened quietly. "I'm so sorry. That must have been hard." Alma nodded. "It made me feel unworthy of love." Kofi took her hand. "You are worthy. I'll remind you every day." Kofi promised to be patient and supportive. Alma asked a tough question. "Do you ever feel I'm not good enough for you?" Kofi's answer was firm. "You are more than enough." Alma finally believed that maybe she could grow past her fears with him. Their walk turned into a heart-to-heart about dreams. Alma confessed she wanted to start her own bakery. "I love baking and making people happy." Kofi's eyes lit up. "You'd be amazing at that. I'll help however I can." Back at the room, Alma brought out a notebook. She scribbled down ideas while Kofi handled financials. "I don't know what I'd do without you," Alma said. Kofi smiled. "We're doing this together." With each step, her excitement grew, and so did their bond. Their business planning turned romantic. Kofi praised her courage. Their fingers touched, eyes met, and a new depth of love formed. "You're doing great," Kofi whispered. Alma smiled. "Thanks, Kofi." Together, they were more than just a couple. They were partners. They walked along the beach as stars twinkled above. The air was cool, the waves calm. Kofi turned to her. "Alma, I love you." She replied, "I love you too." Their kiss was tender and deep. Alma knew she was safe in his arms. They sat on the beach, talking about dreams and futures. "Maybe we can make our dreams a reality, together," Kofi said. Alma's heart soared. "Yes, I'd love that." As they held each other under the stars, they promised forever, and meant it. Back home from the getaway, Alma dove into her bakery plans. She scouted potential shop spaces while Kofi balanced his job and helped crunch numbers at night. "This one has good light," Alma said, pointing at a modest storefront. Kofi smiled. "Let's check it out." The shop was dusty, small, and worn, but Alma saw magic in it. As renovation plans began, stress followed. Contractors delayed, costs piled up, and Alma's confidence began to shake. "Maybe this was a mistake," she muttered one night. Kofi wrapped his arm around her. "Alma, every dream has a storm. We'll weather it." She nodded, but a lump formed in her throat. Old feelings of inadequacy crept in again. Alma's mother visited unannounced. Her eyes scanned the unfinished bakery critically. "You sure this is wise?" she said flatly. Alma bit her lip. "Yes, Mama. I believe in it." Her mother gave a curt nod and left. Later, Alma broke down in Kofi's arms. "Why does her opinion still hurt so much?" she whispered. Kofi held her close. "Because you never got the love you deserved. But I see you, Alma. And I believe in you." The bakery slowly took shape. Alma tested recipes late into the night. The scent of cinnamon, sugar, and nutmeg filled the house. One evening, she let Kofi taste a sweet coconut puff. "Alma," he grinned, eyes wide. "This is divine." She laughed for the first time in days. "You really think so?" "I know so," he said, kissing her cheek. The sign read Alma's sweet table. Butterflies danced in her stomach as she opened the door. Kofi stood by her side, beaming with pride. Friends came. Neighbors came. Strangers peeked in. By noon, they had sold out of everything. As she counted receipts that night, Alma wept, this time with joy. We did it, she said. Kofi pulled her close. You did it, love. With success came new pressure. Alma was exhausted. Kofi worked late. Dishes piled up. Tension grew. You don't help like before, Alma snapped one evening. Kofi frowned. I'm doing the best I can. Silence fell. They slept on opposite sides of the bed, both wondering, how did love get buried under so much responsibility? The next morning, Kofi brought breakfast to the bakery. Let's talk, he said gently. Alma sighed, wiping flour from her cheek. I miss us, she whispered. Kofi took her hand. Let's not lose each other in chasing success. They sat on the bakery bench, holding hands as the sun poured in. They promised to make room for love again. A local radio station invited Alma to speak about her bakery. Her voice trembled on air, but Kofi watched from the sound booth, mouthing, "You've got this." Alma smiled. She told her story, of childhood wounds, of Kofi's support, and finding strength in the oven's heat. When she returned home, messages of encouragement flooded her phone. She felt seen. One evening, Alma found an old letter tucked inside a childhood diary. It was a note from her younger self. Maybe one day I'll be brave. Maybe I'll be loved. Alma's eyes welled up. She showed Kofi the note. You are both now, he whispered. Brave and loved. A year later, the bakery thrived. Alma trained young girls from the neighborhood, mentoring them. Kofi had taken on a new role in her business, managing orders and helping plan expansions. One quiet evening, as they walked back from closing the shop, Kofi knelt in front of her again. Alma, would you say yes to forever again? She laughed through tears. Always. Alma was invited to a culinary conference in Accra. Nervous but excited, she accepted. Kofi helped her prepare. You'll be amazing, he said, hugging her at the airport. She smiled. I'm finally stepping into something bigger. It was her first time traveling alone for business, but not her last. While Alma was away, Kofi struggled with the silence in their home. He missed her laughter, the scent of fresh bread, her warmth beside him at night. They FaceTimed daily, but something about the empty bed made the distance harder than expected. Alma, too, felt the ache of missing home. Alma hired an ambitious young assistant named Senna. Bright, cheerful, and eager to learn, she quickly became popular with customers, and Kofi, who helped with weekend logistics. Alma noticed the laughter they shared and felt a twinge of something she hadn't expected, jealousy. Alma, you okay? Kofi asked one night. She hesitated. Do you think, maybe Senna likes you? Kofi was stunned. Alma, I love you. That's never changed. She nodded slowly. I know. I just didn't expect to feel so threatened. He pulled her close. We'll talk more. We'll fix this. Instead of burying her insecurity, Alma confronted it. It's not Senna. It's me, she told her therapist. Old wounds. That fear of being replaced. Week by week, she worked through the pain. Kofi supported her with patient understanding. You're doing the hard work, he told her. And I admire you. The bakery's success sparked talk of expansion. Kofi suggested a second location. Alma hesitated. What if it's too much? Kofi smiled. It's a risk, but a beautiful one. They visited new sites and eventually found a perfect space in another neighborhood. The journey of growth began again. At dinner one night, Alma placed a folder in front of Kofi. What's this? He asked. Your name on the business license, she said. You've always been my partner. Now it's official. Kofi's eyes misted over. You don't know how much this means to me. Kofi's ex, Nana, came into the bakery one afternoon. Alma served her politely, but tension lingered. Later, Alma asked, Do you still talk? Kofi answered gently, No. That part of my life is over. You're my present and my future. Alma nodded, reassured, but also reflective. Work had made them partners, but they missed being lovers. Kofi planned a candlelit dinner on the bakery rooftop. Alma arrived to soft music and flickering lights. "Just us tonight," Kofi said. They danced under the stars, hearts sinking again in silent rhythm. To thank their growing team, Alma and Kofi hosted a weekend retreat. Laughter, games, and bonfires bonded the team. Watching her staff relax, Alma whispered to Kofi, "We're building more than a business. We're building community." Kofi smiled. "We're building legacy." One morning, a small oven fire broke out. No one was hurt, but part of the kitchen was damaged. Alma was devastated. "Everything we've built," she cried. Kofi reassured her, "We'll fix it. Like we always do." With community support, repairs began quickly. Alma was nominated for a National Entrepreneurship Award. At the ceremony, she wore a gold dress, glowing. "This is for every girl who thought she wasn't enough," she said in her speech. Kofi clapped the loudest. That night, they walked home hand in hand through flashing cameras and cheers. Alma felt ill for days. A test showed a faint line. Mixed emotions filled the room: joy, fear, surprise. Later, it turned out to be a false alarm. They were relieved and disappointed. "I wasn't ready," Alma confessed. "But maybe someday." Kofi kissed her forehead. "We'll cross that bridge together." Senna received a scholarship to study culinary arts abroad. Alma hugged her goodbye. "You were more than staff. You're family." Senna cried. "You believed in me." It reminded Alma of her own beginnings, and how belief can change everything. The second location opened. Slower this time, more thoughtful. They trained staff, designed menus, and learned from past mistakes. The opening wasn't grand, but it was fulfilling. Alma realized that slow, steady growth could be even sweeter. Alma's mother fell ill. She moved in temporarily, bringing back difficult memories. Alma felt torn, between duty and old resentment. Kofi supported from the background, never pushing. Alma and her mother slowly began talking, finally confronting the silence that shaped them both. One evening, her mother held Alma's hand. "I didn't know how to show love," she admitted. "I see now that you deserved more." Alma cried softly. "I just wanted to hear that." The hug they shared afterward was stiff, but real. A long-awaited door cracked open. Alma introduced a new pastry, a mix of her mother's old recipe and her own. It sold out in 2 hours. She named it Peace Puff. Her mother smiled when she tasted it. "Maybe you're the one who broke the cycle," she said quietly. On the anniversary of their bakery launch, Kofi surprised Alma with a second proposal, this time not with a ring, but a key. "To a new house," he said. "A place that's fully ours. Fresh start, new memories." Alma held him close. "Let's fill it with laughter and love." Their home was filled with scent of cinnamon and sound of laughter. The bakery thrived, love deepened, and pain softened. One evening, as they watched the sun dip behind their garden, Alma whispered, This is the life I prayed for." Kofi kissed her hand. "And we're just getting started." Alma stood in front of a packed classroom, teaching a group of young girls about baking. It wasn't just a workshop, it was the start of her foundation, Sweet Beginnings, aimed at mentoring young women. Kofi watched proudly from the back of the room. "You've become everything you needed as a child," he said later. Alma smiled through tears. They moved into the new house Kofi gifted her, filled with sunlight, flowers, and wide kitchen counters. Alma placed a framed photo of them by the doorway and whispered, "May this home always be filled with peace." That night, they danced barefoot in the living room, music playing softly in the background. One morning, Alma found a letter slipped under their door. It was from her father, whom she hadn't seen in years. He was ill and wanted to meet. After days of thinking, she agreed. The reunion was quiet, awkward, and painful, but freeing. She left with no anger, only a sense of release. Alma was asked to headline a national food festival. She cooked with confidence, laughed with chefs, and told her story on stage. When asked her secret ingredient, she said, "Love. Always love." The crowd applauded, and Kofi stood among them, a hand on his heart. Alma woke up feeling strange again. Another test. Another line. But this time, it was no false alarm. She held the result in her hands, trembling. Kofi, he looked at her. She smiled, eyes wet. We're going to have a baby. He was silent, then swept her into his arms, laughing and crying all at once. Pregnancy wasn't easy. Alma was often tired, sometimes scared. Kofi was her rock. He made late-night ginger tea, ran errands, and kissed her belly every morning. You're carrying 2 hearts now, he whispered once. Let me carry you. Alma wrote a letter to her unborn child. I grew up wondering if I was enough. I want you to grow up never questioning your worth. You were loved before you even arrived. She tucked the letter in a small box with a ribbon, waiting for the right day to give it. It was a stormy night when her contractions began. Kofi drove like a man on a mission. Hours later, they heard the first cries of their daughter. Alma held her close, exhausted but radiant. Hello, Ayel, she whispered. Welcome home. Kofi kissed her forehead, tears slipping silently down his cheeks. Life with a baby was noisy, messy, and magical. The bakery kept running with trusted staff, while Alma stayed home, savoring every moment. They took long walks with Ayel in the carrier, showed her dough rising, and sang lullabies in the kitchen. Love had never felt so real. On their 10th wedding anniversary, Alma and Kofi held a quiet celebration at the bakery. Photos of their journey lined the walls, from the early struggles to the joyful milestones. Their daughter toddled between tables, giggling. As guests raised glasses, Kofi stood beside Alma. We started with wounds and fears, he said. But together, we built peace. We built home. Alma added, and we built a love that will outlive us. They kissed, surrounded by laughter, flower, family, and dreams fulfilled. Their story wasn't perfect, but it was true, and it was theirs, forever.